What's up, Exit the Matrix family? Bob here. Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for joining me on this morning talk. So, I wanted to shift gears a little bit, guys. We've been going just on and on about the creation of man and, about quantum physics and just all these things, spirituality, NDEs. I wanted to kind of go down a different path. And this path is near and dear to me because it's something that I've researched for a long time, and it's one of the things that got me really into, delving deeper into stuff and how our society works and how it's framed. And what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about secret societies. And I don't think people realize how powerful secret societies really are. I don't think they realize how embedded in the fabric of our society they really are. I mean, look at this, folks. I believe that I've read that it was at least half, if not more than half, of the signers of the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights were Masons. And of course the Freemasons are a secret society. They've been around for hundreds of years. They were pretty much a spin-off off of the Knights Templar. And a lot of people don't know this, but there still is a sect of Freemasons that call themselves Knights of Templar, or Templar Knights of Templar. So the Knights of Templar are still around. They're just an offshoot or a part of the Freemasons. And then, of course, you had the, God, can you even say this word? I know people used to always change the name and stuff, but I guess we'll see what YouTube does about this. But the Illuminati, And nowadays, everybody kind of uses Illuminati as a blanket term for all of the secret societies that have power and control over the earth. I guess it's kind of a blanket term now, but there was, in the 1700s, an actual secret society called the Illuminati, and they were working together to overthrow governments and such. And some of our founding fathers actually were talking with their people. I think Benjamin Franklin was one of them. And of course, Adam Weishaupt was the one who founded the Illuminati. But a lot of the Masons were actually against the Illuminati because they were kind of a radical Marxist style, early Marxist, I guess you could say, like more of a radical collectivism and stuff. They had views that were too radical for most of your Freemasons, and they were trying to embed themselves in the newly formed United States and embedding themselves in lodges throughout the United States, Freemason lodges. And so there was actually infighting going on over, some members wanting to include the Illuminati members into their lodges, and some were wanting to bar them from their lodges. So interesting stuff, folks. And look, they say that the Illuminati died out, right? It wasn't they claim they only had few thousand members, and they never got powerful enough like the Masons. But I'm guessing that they merged themselves in with the lodges that allowed them in the United States and in parts of Europe. And to this day, that's probably why you have even infighting within the Masons, and you have power struggles within the Masons and different views and direction and stuff. And it's probably because a lot of that is the leftover Illuminati influence is still embedded in the Freemasons. So now, are the Illuminati like a separate secret society still, prospering and building? I think in a way they are. I don't think the actual organization is anymore, but I think the ideas are still there. And I like I said, it's more of a blanket term nowadays, but I still think that there's some kind of a residual Illuminati still in power, and maybe they were adopted by the higher ups, like the more powerful groups than even the Freemasons. And that might be where you get a lot of the Luciferianism, Satanism, and all that from. At the very least, probably embedded in the pretty, the radical Marxist groups and stuff. So, look, folks, nothing's black and white in this world. Okay, everything's more in the gray. When you are in a world of duality, polarities and stuff, you're going to have powers at the far ends of each, far right, far left, and, pure darkness, pure light, but you're going to have powers pulling in those directions, but typically everything's somewhere in the middle, right? Even some of your most evil people ever walked the earth have done good to other people, have helped other people or done things that, would be positive, and vice versa, right? Some of the people that claim to be the holiest people on earth have hurt other people and done stuff. So, I mean, look, of course, Christians claim Jesus is the only perfect human to ever walk the earth. And of course, I'm sure the Hindus have, maybe Krishna was the most perfect human. Krishna, right? The Christ? Okay, we're not going to get down this path again, folks. Let's keep it in secret societies. I'm sorry, folks. My gosh. Rabbit, right? Some of my favorite subjects. Anyways. So, what I really wanted to talk about, though, is, how do these organizations, operate? How do they recruit? Well, a lot of you, want your sons and daughters to attend colleges, right? And a lot of you want your sons and daughters to get into esteemed colleges. I mean, imagine if your son or daughter has a 4.4 GPA and they're in debate club and they're on the student council and they do all this charity work. They check off all the boxes. So they, and I'll tell you what, it helps if you're a minority too. Let's just be real, folks. Okay. If they could check off that box too, that gives them an extra leg up. So, which is racist, but hey, whatever. That's the country we live in, right? Where it's anti-racism, it always leads to racism. But anyways, that is what it is. But let's just say that they get accepted to Harvard or to Yale or one of these old Ivy League and they're mostly, you see a lot of this mostly on the coasts, either the California, more elite schools, or the East Coast elite schools. But typically they're more embedded in the East Coast schools because that was, since the founding of the nation, those schools have been involved in filling the ranks of the secret societies. And then you'd say, well, how's that? My daughter's going to go to Harvard. She's going to be a lawyer or something, right? Well, the way it works, folks, is at these Ivy League schools, they have special fraternities and sororities that operate as recruiting offices for the secret societies, disguised as just fraternities and sororities. And typically in these elite schools, it's very hard to get into those secret societies. In fact, you typically can't even pledge a lot of these high-level sororities and frats. They actually seek you out. And how's that? Well, a lot of times they have agents that are actually looking into your background, looking into your family, looking into, your family's history. And they're looking for certain family bloodlines. They're looking for certain traits. There's all these different things, right? Who your father and mother work for, are they in intelligence? Are they, there's all these, are they CEOs? Are they top levels of corporations? Or, are they top levels of religious orders? Look, folks, religion's part of the scam too. I've told you guys this a million times. But, so, a perfect, if you want to, look, I know it's a movie, folks. It's a movie, I get it. But a perfect example of what I'm explaining, and it is actually pretty close to the truth, is if you watch the movie Skull and Bones. Right? Or what was it called? What was it called? Skull and Bones? anyways, it was a great movie. I think there was what, one, two, or three of them, but great movie. The first one, fantastic, and it was about the Skull and Bones secret society, or I'm sorry, fraternity. There is a fraternity, Skull and Bones. In fact, George Bush was a member of it, and John Kerry was a member of it. When they were running against each other, that was a big thing that came up, was the fact that they were both Skull and Bones members. Well, that movie, obviously, it Hollywoodized a little bit of it, but a lot of it was on the truth. See, like the one actor in the movie, right? They reached out to him. You know, I'm sure you can put your name in the hat for these things, but they're gonna do the research on you. They're gonna, if they want you, they're gonna get you, right? And they're gonna ply you with women, with girls from the sororities that work with the fraternities, that, have like partnerships. A lot of these sororities and these fraternities, they actually work together. So they'll, invite you to parties and test you out and see how they can manipulate you and stuff. Can you be blackmailed? Can you be manipulated with women and drugs and other stuff? Look, folks, it's the same honeypot type operations you see going on that happen at the Ep Island, right? Same thing. It's just on a smaller scale in a college setting, done with these money-backed, powerfully people-backed sororities and fraternities. And so your son or daughter, they get hand selected to join. Well, a lot of these higher level secret societies / fraternities, sororities, they've cut down on hazing a lot in the colleges. It was wild in the 90s and stuff, what they'd make these kids do, right? These pledges. But a lot of these fraternities and sororities, they still have age-old ceremonies and stuff that they put you through to join these high-level fraternities and sororities. They'll put you through occultic ceremonies and stuff and rituals. Skull and Bones, like I said, the Skull and Bones, like in the movie, So this is where it all really starts, folks, because a lot of people laugh at the fact when you're like, oh, secret society's this, secret society's that, and they're always like, you're a fool. Secret societies don't run the world. That's just a group of, men that get together to hang out at the Elks Lodge or something like that, or the Mason Lodge, right? Well, people don't understand how embedded these organizations are. They start with the kids, man, and some of them start recruiting before kids are even out of high school. But they put them through these rituals, and if they pass everything, if they pass their background checks with what these groups are looking for, then once they get them in the sorority and the fraternity, they start programming them into the ways of the occult, of those particular secret societies that they're recruiting for. So that as soon as they graduate college, they've already got big money donors that are backing these groups that are going to be giving you hand-picked places in society. Like, they're literally like, hey, we've got a position on the board at this corporation, or like a high level, place in this corporation, or, oh, we're going to place you at one of the top like hospitals, if it was somebody that went in for, to be a doctor or whatever, or this pharmaceutical company, or no, we're going to use you in intelligence. We're going to recruit. Now we're going to give you you're going to jump the line, at one of the 3-letter agencies, right? You're not going to start out as a recruit, like a grunt, where you're going to get a jump ahead because we recruited you and you're one of our people. or in a law firm, or on and on and on, folks. The point I'm trying to make is that your son or daughter gets recruited into one of these secret societies. They get programmed into the workings of this sorority or frat that's associated with the secret society, and they go through all these rituals and all these, and then the whole time they're already building blackmail on your daughter or son, because they always do this. Look, folks, they never promote anybody into these positions of power without already building a profile of blackmail on them. So they recorded everything your son or daughter did at the parties, right? The drugs they've done, the sexual exploits they did, all that's already being built, a profile on them. And then they're offered high-paying, powerful positions throughout society. They embed them in our society, throughout our society. And I'll tell you what, it's as strong, or if not even a stronger bond, that you'll find with sorority and frat, brothers and sisters, than even maybe you'll find, with like Freemasons and stuff. Have you ever talked? Look, some of you are probably in frats or sororities, or were in them, and you guys know it's like a blood oath, pretty much, to your brothers and sisters. You'll do anything for them; they'll do anything for you. See how this works, folks? You start building it that when it's young, and then when they get into these positions of power and all that, now they're making good money, and now it was. That's why everybody always wants to get their kids and daughters into these Ivy League schools, because they always see all these other families. Their son's a lawyer now. He's a doctor because he went to Harvard or Yale. Well, yeah, because if he was in one of these high-level frats, he was placed. He jumped the line ahead of other people that were probably more deserving. But because he's part of the group, the club now, he's gone through the rituals, he's gone through the programming, and he's one of theirs. They've got the blackmail profile on him. And that continues throughout life, folks. They keep tabs on all these people, okay? They don't want them, telling secrets. They don't want them breaking away from the control and grip and the influence. So they keep tabs on them throughout life. And when they need a favor done, they call on it. Hey, so-and-so, one of our brothers or one of our associates. Yeah, you're a lawyer. You're a judge now. Right? You went to this frat, right? And you're Skull and Bones. And one of our Skull and Bones members is getting, indicted for, freaking espionage charges or something, because they were in the, one of the, the 3-letter agencies, or who knows, or working for a breakaway group or something. Who knows? But the point is when you get that call, you better answer it. They own you, okay? They set you up. You went through the rituals. You sold your soul, essentially. They own you. And so, yeah, if you're that judge now that was in part of that group, you're gonna toss that out. You're gonna do whatever you can to make sure that person gets off. And there's a good chance that the other lawyers or the DA or whoever could have came from the same group that you did, or another associated group. Look, folks, a lot of these secret societies all work together, okay? They're just like mafias, okay? That mafias that, that they're competing against each other, but when it comes to say, crackdown by, the government or whatever, they'll work together against that, right? If they have to, right? The enemy of my, or the enemy of my enemy is my friend, or I'll keep them close, or whatever the saying goes, right? So they look out for each other, folks. They network. They place their people throughout our society. They're already bought and paid, blackmailed, controlled. And you wonder why our country is so corrupt. They operate like a mafia, but they start when they're young, folks. So when those of you that are always like, oh, I want my daughter to go to Yale or Harvard or whatever, just be careful what you wish for, folks. Is your daughter or son, especially if they get into one of these high-level frats or sororities, are they going to end up coming out of college with a great paying career, job, position of power? Yeah, more than likely, if they do everything they're told and they, if they check off all the boxes that, their handlers are expecting them to, yeah, they will. But you're not looking at the bigger picture here, folks. I mean, really, when you think about it, you're undermining society and the structure of your country. And there's something that starts with a T and ends with an N that I would call that personally. But all these societies, they operate this way. Hell, I guarantee you, folks, that 90% of Congress, at least, 90%, all of our Supreme Court judges, they all were part of these groups. They've already gone through the rituals. They've already gone through the programming. Okay? And you wonder why there's no justice in this nation anymore. You wonder why the corporations all poison us. You would wonder why it seems as if all the systems of our country work against the people. To hold us down, to rob us, to maim us, to poison us, to program us. Well, folks, it all starts there with these groups recruiting from the colleges. And then these people, and then a lot of times, folks, these, because they've already gone through these rituals, like in Skull and Bones and all these, like, secret societies, like in the college, embedded in the colleges, they join the associated societies once they're adults, right? Once they're out of college, once they're in their careers or whatever. Now they're part of different groups, right? Now, or that were funding these frats and sororities and stuff. Now they join the Masons. Now they join other groups, or they become members in round tables, right? Like the CFR and the Bilderbergs, and because they've already been placed in these CEO positions and stuff. Now they're getting called to the next level, to the round tables that are now trying to control things on a world scale. Or, they're politicians. They're getting embedded in the political, in politics. Right? See what I'm trying to say here, folks? Look, I'm not trying to, make you guys all think this is just hopeless. But I'm trying to tell you guys, man, teach you guys what this is all really about. Corruptions throughout our society at the highest levels, but it starts with the recruiting in the colleges a lot of times. Now, obviously, we can go into this further on another video. I'm almost here to work. We might have to just call this part 1 on secret societies, right? We'll do that. Secret societies part 1. But I wanted to lay the framework, as I do with a lot of my talks, so we could start building off that framework, right? Because trust me, folks, we have the mystery schools, Hermeticism, religions. We can go, all this stuff ties together with secret societies, trust me. We're not even scratching the surface yet. There's way too much in a 30-minute video that I can even talk about. So I just wanted to make it understood about the colleges and the secret societies, because that's where it all starts. All secret societies have to get members from somewhere. They all recruit, folks, okay? And the colleges are ripe for the recruiting. So, sorry, I had to park my car there, as I do every morning as we get ready to end the video here. So, I know we were just kind of jumping around. I was kind of being vague about a lot of stuff. We'll go into a lot more detail as we go, folks. I just wanted to make that understood, though. Look, it starts in the colleges. These sororities, these frats, a lot of them are already they're already conditioning your sons and daughters that join them into these rituals and these ceremonies that preps them for the next level of occultism and of secret groups. Because the reason why these groups do these ceremonies, folks, and these rituals It's because for one, it makes people feel special, like they're getting initiated in a secret way, a dark and secret way that nobody else knows about, right? So they feel special, like they're being picked, right? Which they are. They're being handpicked, and but it's for the ends of the group, not for the individual. Okay, the individual is just a cog in the whole system, though they make them feel special, like they're powerful and special, right? Um, but they're really just they start there. That's how they fill the ranks of these groups. Okay, and I get it, folks. Not all Masons come from college sororities and frats. I get that. Now, your higher level ones always do. Okay, your cops, your firemen, your basic. A lot of the. I notice it seems like a lot of your low rank Masons, the ones that run the charities that kind of put on the front for the group, right? Most of them are good people. In fact, I have a neighbor that lives near me that was a Mason and a Shriner. Great guy. I love the guy, man. He's a fantastic guy. And we don't talk about that stuff, obviously. He's been open to me about it, though. The guy that used to own our home before was a Mason also, and he was a 33 degree, in fact. Um, but I'm not saying all these people are bad or some folks. A lot of your low level Masons were just cops, firemen, you know, people in the society, and they want to, they're joining, they think they're joining a good old boys club, and they like to get together without the women and hang out and have beers on, weekends and stuff, and, do charity work. And, they say it raises themselves up in the community. So if they want to go for, the sheriff or something position, they've now built, they're part of a network of people that will support them in that endeavor. And so that's a lot of times what you see with the low level Masons. But you don't understand, folks, the high levels, the ones that really control the orders, that the low levels know nothing about because they're compartmentalized, they get recruited in. They don't pledge in, and they don't ask to join or pledge to join. They get recruited in from the higher levels, handpicked. Okay, they've already gone through rituals higher than your low level Masons do. They're it was at you typically at the college level, and they were so they even get a jump ahead of people in these orders. Okay. Because they've already got the blackmail and everything on them, and they use these other low level Masons to, like I said, run the charities to give the group a nice, peaceful face for the community. Well, John over there, he's a policeman, and Billy there, he's a firefighter. I mean, these guys, they're good guys. Are you trying to say they're all evil? No, I'm not. Okay, and they're given rudimentary levels of occult teachings, of mystery school teachings. Let's be real. I guarantee you, I know more about symbolism than 90% of your Masons, your low-level Masons out here. They're given really low-level on information and understanding of this stuff. So, it's most of them just do it because it's a club, And a lot of your policemen, they're part of secret societies, even within the ranks, right? The God, what is it called? The the Fraternal Order of Police. Look at the symbols on their look at their symbols for their order. It'll tell you something. But black cube. Some of you would call it the Star of David, but I'd call it the black cube of Saturn, because that's really what the Star of David is, folks. You've all been tricked. You're always tricked. But anyways, we'll go ahead and break it off there. We'll just call this Secret Society Part 1. We'll pick up tomorrow again. I mean, we'll start working now that we're starting to get some groundwork. Okay, where did they recruit these people, right? And then we'll start working up from there. So anyways, guys, hey, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. If you're interested in doing a one-on-one Zoom with me, I offer that. Your donation for my time, and you get a copy of the video. You can do whatever you'd like with that. But better yet, just connecting, and we can talk about whatever subjects you want. I offer that. The details are in the descriptions for that. And if you're not with me over on Facebook, come join Exit on Facebook. We're on X, Rumble. There's a few different platforms that are kind of fledgling at the. I don't spend a lot of time on X right now, but I'm kind of building it as a backup because X very heavily limits my posts. I mean, I since I joined there, I mean, I, I don't have a lot on there. I think we got like 2,500 followers there on X, but I'll do posts and like 3 people will see the post. So it's just, and I look, man, I'm not. It's X isn't really my thing. I don't like sitting there and just arguing politics all day long with people. That's all X is, dude. Just shit posting about politics 24/7. I get it. There's some good videos and information being put out there. That's the only reason I jump on really occasionally. But I find I have a lot more enjoyment investing my time in my Facebook page because I got to give it to Z, man. Trust me, I'm not a fan, but he has been true to his word. They have let up off the censorship, and if anything, I'm starting to find Facebook is some of the channels that they're leaving alone on Facebook or pages are starting to get a lot more edgy, man, than what I'm finding on X right now. To be honest, I'm surprised. I can't even believe it. Like it's like a bizarre world. All of a sudden, Facebook's becoming like the Wild West, like X became after Musk took it over. So I don't know, man. Maybe Dana White's working on the Z, right? Maybe he's trying to talk some sense into the guy, and look, the dude's never going to be a conservative, but maybe he at least can move him more to the middle, to like more of a libertarian type outlook. And if they can do that with Z, then that's a good thing, folks. Some of you are going to laugh at me, say, oh, he's a bought and paid, and he's one of the worst guys. I get it, dude. Look, I don't trust the guy, goddamn. But hey, man, sometimes people can change too, okay? I mean, gosh. Some of you act like nobody ever changes. Nobody ever changes their viewpoints, never changes their way of thinking. But yes, some people can change. Am I trying to like hold water for Z? No, I'm just making a statement, okay? I'm hoping, and I would pray for the guy, to change his ways and make his platform free speech for the ongoing foreseeable future, and to do what keep the censorship off. And he got rid of the fact checkers. He didn't lie about that. And my page has not gotten one single hit since I got my page back. Now, why my page got stolen and all that to begin with, that's a whole nother situation. But that was also when that whole crossing over was happening with the T coming into power. So I think that had something to do with it, to control narratives and stuff. Now all of a sudden I got my page back out of the blue after I tried for 6 months to get it back. Then all of a sudden one day I wake up, boom, I got my page back. The guy that stole it kicked off kicked off. I have full monetization back. I mean, it was weird, folks. I'm telling you. I don't know. But like I said, Facebook has improved quite a bit. Now, I hear YouTube is starting to move in that direction. We'll see. I have to admit, folks, YouTube has not pulled any of my videos or blocked any of my monetization yet at this point. And I know that people are getting their channels back and all that. So maybe I started really dipping my toe in the water here on YouTube at the right time. Who knows? And look, folks, all you're like, go to Rumble, go to this one, go to that one. I've tried, folks. Nobody goes to those ones, man. I'm sorry. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Those are the big three, okay? If you want to have a true place in social media and build a fiefdom of of your following and everything, you do it on those 3 platforms. Yes, there's Telegram. Yes, there's all, but nobody ever goes to those, okay? Niche groups of people, and they're typically echo chambers. I don't want to be in an echo chamber. I want conservatives and liberals to debate each other. I want religious and non-religious people to debate each other, okay? So I want to be on a platform that reaches all types of people. Now, YouTube doesn't give any reach to my videos, folks. The only reason that the channel's growing is because of Facebook outside clicks, okay? And those of you that are now subscribed. That's it. I hardly ever get any new views from YouTube itself. It's always from external. But that's fine. We'll keep building that way if we have to. But anyways, guys, I'm just blabbering on. So, but I do appreciate you guys. Today's a Saturday. Have a great weekend. I actually work tomorrow on Sunday. I don't have to work Sundays, but I'm trying to get some more money. So I've been... I know everybody's struggling right now, guys, and I do pray the best for all of you. I know everybody's in a tough spot right now. Inflation continues to eat us up, and it's just, I swear to God, I have 4 cars. One's an old, 2 are old beat up Jeeps. Okay, these are not new cars, folks. They all have over 200,000 miles, including the car I'm sitting in right now. And out of all my vehicles, all of them have some issues, and one of them's completely down. Looks like the transmission went on it. So I get it, folks. I mean, everybody's struggling right now. So I'm working Sunday tomorrow, so I'll cut a video on the way to work tomorrow too. So we'll do part 2 secret societies. I'm trying to be more consistent with YouTube, folks, and we look, man. It's the time to grow while we have the opportunity. If the left gets back into power, censorship may come back full blast. Who knows? But while we have the window, we're going to build. Okay? So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you later.